It was a killer deal. The property increased in value since we sold it by 30%.
Hey, those who don't pick up calls lose 90% of business. Ask me how I know.
And I was on the phone while my kids were going on rides.
During COVID, we bought a building on the 14th of March, 2020. Why did we buy this building?
And I'll help you to make money on these deals.
Crazy.
Hello guys, this is Rafik Moore. In this video, I'll show you how I did 2 deals using none of my own money and made huge profit for me and my capital partners. Sounds crazy, right? By the end of this video, you will see that you don't need a huge savings account to start crushing it in commercial real estate, all right? So on this warehouse, I signed the purchase agreement, but I didn't have any of my own money. And what did? I found a capital partner who financed 100% of it. You would think, why would somebody do that? They would do it because they recognize the value of the property. When we bought this thing for $1.2 million, it was supposed to be valued at about $2 to $2.5 million. It was a killer deal, and it's a killer location. And me and my partners owned property in this area. So it was a very easy way for me to convince them to provide capital within 2 weeks of signing the purchase agreement. We closed on it, we rehabbed it, refinanced it. He got all of his money back. And then we collectively made about $1 million on the property, splitting it 50-50. All of this was done without touching any of my personal funds, using my private investors' capital. Crazy, right? The lesson I got out of this deal is that if you're transparent with your partners and you make them money, and if you find a killer deal, there will be a line of people wanting to work with you and provide you with capital. Ask me how I know. What's interesting is I drove by this property for 2 years. And I thought there was an opportunity, but I asked my brokers to follow up on it, and they didn't. So what I just called on a sign for lease and asked the leasing broker if the seller would consider selling the distressed property because it was a blight of the neighborhood. The seller responded right away, and they're interested in selling. The price they wanted was $1.5 million. We negotiated it, and they dropped the price to $1.2 million, provided I close on this transaction in 2 weeks. We signed this purchase agreement on December 15th, and there was a big problem. I had a trip scheduled with my children to Disney World. I had to leave. So I called my capital partner and I told him that he needs to run due diligence. He needs to talk to the sellers and organize everything. And it was amazing because he did everything, and I was on the phone while my kids were going on rides. And that's what happens when you have really good partners. They become your friends. They become like your family. I felt overjoyed because I was excited about the deal, and I still was able to spend time with my children in Disney World. So one of the regrets I have, believe it or not, is that I sold the building for profit. I wish I held on to it because we sold it and the property increased in value since we sold it by 30%. So sometimes when you have really good properties, don't sell them. Like my mentor says, hold them long term and let your tenants pay off your mortgage and grow your portfolio size. Always adding value. During COVID, they shut down the country, and we bought a building on the 14th of March, 2020. And I'm here with my thoughts, watching these news, all depressed, distressed, scared about what the hell is going to happen because I have all these loans and all these properties. And we bought the property. My brother is working with some contractors, and he's just kind of, in the thing. So I'm all like, why did we buy this building? The world is falling apart. And my brother's like, hey, we got another tenant. I'm like, what? Yeah, and the construction is going on. And he's completely oblivious to what's going on in the world. And sometimes I wonder, maybe it's best not to know what the hell is going on and keep doing what you're doing, keep adding value, because these emotional storms, they're so destructive to the productive process, to the creative process.
that we have. What's up, Sol? How you doing?
I got a gift for you. You ready?
Give me a gift. I want the gift.
All right. So I sent you a beautiful building. Rashid locked it up at $30 a foot.
That's how it's done.
At $30 a foot. Now it's half of the building is warehouse, half of the building is offices. It's very nice built out offices, and I called it Josh Menti. Just had a consulting call. We thought we were going to do co-working space. Like, it's not going to work because we.
Where is it located?
It's in Gurnee. It's in Gurnee.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Okay, now.
So Saul just told me about a deal, and my number one job is to identify a good deal from not so good deal. And once I know the deal is really good, then I go into a mode of raising capital. Make sure my capital partners are, number one, protected, and number two, they make really, really good return on investment. What is a good return on investment? Anywhere between 15 to 30%. And so on this deal that Saul was talking about, I think the property is worth about $2 million, and he says we can buy it for $750. The question is, how much would it cost for us to lease it up? And that's the biggest question of the day. And if we can lease it up for $300,000, then there's a really good deal. If it's gonna cost us $800,000 to lease it up, then the profit margin is smaller. And that's the art of the deal. The problem with this industry and a YouTube channel is that it doesn't apply to most people. I mean, we're talking about buying multi-million-dollar buildings. 99.9% of your audience is not gonna even have any kind of a connection to something like this. So how do we figure out a content that's going to be exciting to most people? I mean, everybody wants to make money, don't get me wrong. Everybody wants to have financial freedom. But there's inherent risks in buying industrial real estate. And obviously, it's a very complex thing. You gotta raise capital, you gotta do construction, you gotta do management. But for those who are dedicated, determined, and want to advance, I believe it's the best industry to create substantial amount of income. And I've been obviously benefited a lot from it. And all I want to do is share with my audience the secrets of how to do this correctly, how to buy these properties, how to identify them, how to unlock value, etc. Our business requires a lot of discipline in handling capital, and especially other people's money. 9 people out of 10 get out of business because the minute they make a lot of money, they lose themselves. Ask me how I know. You make a lot of money, got $1 million in the bank, you feel differently. You feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like you have all this cash, but the problem is you gotta pay investors back. And the other big partner in this business is United States government, IRS. You make $1 million, you didn't make $1 million, you made $300,000. And so this industry requires immense amount of financial discipline, and those who don't have it lose money on it. But it all started with house flips. You buy a house, you fix it, you stabilize it, and now it's in the big industry, big buildings like these. Every day I get an opportunity through these calls. Every phone call is another opportunity, all right? By the way, those who don't pick up calls lose 90% of the business. What's up, Mr. Michael? Every time I come to properties I sold, I feel bittersweet. I remember I used to work here, lease it, but now it's sold. I think we sold this thing 3 weeks ago. So we just sold this property for $1.6 million. Now we bought it for $850,000, and the sellers financed 80% of the deal. The remaining 20% of the deal was financed by my investor. A couple of years later, I bought the investor out, and I ended up owning the property on my own. This property has been a great property. It's got a lot of small garage bays in here. What's good is that it's got separate electric and gas. You always want to split electric and gas, and if it comes separate, it's much better. And if you don't, your operating expenses will go up by $1, $1.50 per square foot in utility costs. This is a 19,000 square foot small bay warehouse building located in Burnsville, Minnesota, on a very busy road. Cliff Road is a busy road. And this is a typical deal we would do. I think we made about $800,000 on this property and redeployed it into a different deal through a 1031 exchange. So each one of these electric meters is attached to a unit, and each tenant pays their own electric, which is different from like an office building where you pay the electric. And in warehouse properties, you want them to pay electric because many times they have machinery and equipment that draws a lot of electricity. You know, and gas is the same thing. If you rent for a small base $2,000 and they leave the doors open and they try to keep the heat on, you'll spend $300-400 a month on gas bill alone. So every time we buy a property, we want to always split gas and electric as much as we can. Usually when you buy properties like these, they have rents that reflect the condition of the property. But if you improve the property, if you paint, repair asphalt, and bring the condition up, you can then get a higher rental rates. And when you get a higher rental rates, the property value goes up. It's pretty straightforward. And here, as you can see, there's 5 garage doors. I mean, it's not a pretty building, but if you spot a building like this in your neighborhood and you understand the mathematics, if you understand the economics of the deal, you can make anywhere from $500 to $1 million on a small deal like this. Trust me, this is what you should be looking for in your neighborhood. And I'll help you to make money on these deals. You might wonder, why would seller want to finance their own deals? Well, the answer is very simple. They will want to finance their deals to, number one, defer taxes. If they seller finance the property, they don't have to pay IRS capital gains tax. Number two, interest income. This particular couple received $5,000 a month from us for over 5 years, and they enjoyed the cash flow to go to various cruises. They love cruises. This right here is Andrei Bortno. He's actually one of my friends and a buyer who purchased the property. They did really well. I think they'll do great with this property. So I just want you guys to understand, seller financing is a really good option for you because of flexibility, and for the seller because of tax deferral and interest income they can make. And let me tell you something. If you create win-win situations for you and the seller and for your investors, you'll have a lot of opportunity to do these deals over and over and over again in your markets. Please DM me if you have any questions. Happy to answer anything I can. Because of this deal, and because what I've learned here from interacting with my sellers, I recognize that seller financing is a huge value for many sellers who own their property for 15 to 20 years. So going forward, or after this deal, I've consistently asked sellers to seller finance their properties, and it's been tremendous. I'm telling you guys, if you learn how to find these deals, and if you learn how to create win-win situations for you, for the seller, for your investors, you'll be able to build a massive portfolio of real estate without any of your own money. And that's the secret of this business, is to create a win-win situation for everybody. Make sure everybody makes money, not just you. And don't forget to always add value.